It's one of the biggest games in the season, Liverpool versus Man United, and we've already had you decide in terms of who's going to finish higher this season, but let's get into the tactical nitty-gritty of Liverpool versus Man United. We've got Sam from United People's TV, Paul from Redmen TV. Let's get straight into it. Looking at the lineups, Liverpool are at home.
Mm-hmm.
This is the team that started against Swansea,
Yep.
but there's going to have to be a few changes, isn't there?
Yeah, so as it stands, there's a few doubts for this team, particularly in the midfield area. Obviously, as with anything, we know you've got to film these things in advance, so fucking anything can happen. But as it stands right now, it looks like Nathaniel Klein is going to be fit and available, which is really good news because in terms of guys behind him in the right back position, not so many. So I would expect the back four to be as is. I think that's our strongest back four. One or two question marks over the goalkeeper. Now, Mignolet started the season reasonably well. Karius clearly bought as the number one, even so much as giving the squad number one. I think Karius will get the nod, even though there were one or two shaky moments in his couple of outings so far. Where the big issues lie now, Wijnaldum picked up what looked like a hamstring injury on international duty. So I would say if it's a hamstring, and we know it's a hamstring, you're talking at least a couple of weeks. If it's very, very, very minor, if it's just a strain or whatever. And there is still a question mark over Lallana, who was injured, went off against Swansea City. Now he's had a couple of weeks to recuperate by not going on international duty. I'm hoping, above all hope, that he's fit and available because he's key for us. So what I'm going to do though, I'm going to work on the worst case scenario.
Okay.
So Wijnaldum, I will take Wijnaldum out here for the sake of argument. Liverpool have got some real options here because as a straight natural fit in, Marko Grujic, young signing last season from Red Star Belgrade, he should just go straight in there. But he's a bit young, he's a bit raw, he's not started a league game for us so
in a
far
massive
this
game
season.
as well. It's a massive
Exactly.
thing.
What I think will happen though is I think we'll see a little bit of a rejig. What we saw when Lallana went off against Swansea was Phil Coutinho drop a little bit deeper and Daniel Sturridge came off, which is a bit of a surprise. So what we could actually see is Phil Coutinho drops into one of the attacking mid positions. Firmino moves over to the left and Daniel Sturridge comes on up front. Not his position, but in terms of what we've seen from Lallana, having more pitch in front of him, giving him more people to hit with his passing, which is something that's almost been forgotten as a skill of his, could be a very good thing. There's also a shout out for a Lucas Leiva coming in or an Emre Can coming in. Henderson moves into that more advanced position, which he can do, which I actually still think is his best position, even though he's been owning the number 6 role so far this season. So there's definitely options, but for the sake of argument, we'll stick with that because we've seen that sort of happen already this season.
Just to say, guys, there are problems sometimes when you're printing out team stickers and things like that. So this isn't anything against Man United. I would make little ones so that the big guys intimidate them and therefore our minds are brainwashed. Mm-hmm. The printer ran out of ink. We had to use the Redmen's Liverpool guys.
Yeah.
So the United side, how are they going to shape up? Because that's a team that's changed a lot, even in the first 7 games.
Yeah, well, obviously there's one standard position, unlike Liverpool in terms of goalkeepers. I think he's still the best player in our team. He's still, I think, he's the best goalkeeper in the league. I think he's proven that now. Right back.
You're defending deep here, aren't you?
Right. Well, no, it's because he's attacking so high.
Right.
But
It's Anfield, you've got to own the pitch.
clearly,
Really get into it, guys, aren't we?
No, right back. I still don't think he should be our first choice right back, but he is. Valencia. Matteo Darmian, he seems out of favour for Mourinho. Doesn't like him for some reason. Fosu Mensah, 18. Same way as Grujic is raw.
Valencia hasn't let you down, though?
No, he hasn't let you down, and he's got a goodish record at Anfield. I remember him streaking away for Van Persie's penalty, that sort of lightning bolt run that he made from deep. So I think he can be good, but up against what is going to be a very attacking and fluid team, I would identify him as a potential weakness because his positional discipline is a little bit off. So if he can get exposed by 2 players over there, they're going to have a lot of fun down there. And hopefully, Eric Bailly is going to be there to sweep it up because I think this is the biggest game. The City game was very big, but Anfield away. City are just...
It's going to be intense, isn't it?
It's going to be intense for him. And he, I think, has got a red card in him this season. He's that sort of player that plays on the edge. Like he'll go full metal for that tackle, but when he gets it, it's wicked. If he misses it, this is not the game you want to miss it in. It really is not.
Do players often go full metal?
Full metal? I couldn't remember what to say. In a game like this, I'm in an iron about whether Chris Smalling should be in there, but I think in a match where we're going to be desperate for possession, a player like Blind is so much calmer on the ball. And I think that's going to be quite important. And he might actually play left back because Luke Shaw's been injured for our last couple of games. I think he's crucial in playing here, especially when you've got someone like Mane. Blind against Mane, that is not a matchup for pace. We're going to need someone like Shaw who's excellent at recovery because I think we're going to be busy in defence. Defensive midfield, I've gone for Ander Herrera. Last couple of years for United, he's been a bit undervalued, I think, as a player. He's just got his first Spain call-up. His form's been recognised. And him playing there, because technically on paper, United are playing with two midfielders like that. But Pogba doesn't play as a holding midfielder. It ends up being Herrera deeper and Pogba moving further up. But for the sake of this formation, I'm going to put the two next to each other there. And it's Mourinho. He loves 4-2-3-1. I don't think he's going to divert from that. You might end up getting more of a... People might start moving a little bit more narrow. You might get Mata dropping deeper to make it more of a three-man midfield. But I'm not even sure if Mata's going to play. There's question marks over Mata and there's question marks over Rooney. But I think I'm going to go for a front three like that. Maybe move him a little bit further up, just for the sake of it. Go away, Henderson. I'm going to go Martial on the left and Rashford on the right. I think this is United's greatest strength at the moment. Weirdly, because they're two strikers. They shouldn't be playing on the wings. But the pace they offer, with someone like Ibrahimovic in the box, perfect for crosses. We scored 3 set pieces against Leicester. That was from 3 Daley Blind corners. So that might even be a reason why Daley Blind should play this game, is because I know that Liverpool are quite weak on set pieces. But his delivery was so good against Leicester that it made it very hard for them to defend. Do
you think this is a team that, playing away from home, is an attacking team or just your best chance of winning the game? Because I think Mourinho, he's renowned for, he's a little bit more defensive. And if he is so, isn't someone like Lingard the kind of guy who's that hard worker that he might have instead of Rashford, and then you put Rashford on the last 20 minutes? Because you know the Liverpool team are going to work really, really hard.
Yeah, but he made that exact mistake against Man City. So Lingard started against Man City and Rashford was on the bench. Lingard came off at half-time, Rashford went on, and it changed for United. I don't think you can drop Rashford. I think he's just too good. He adds too much to this team. And I think United look a little bit limp in attack without Rashford in.
For anyone who hasn't seen Liverpool, what did they do that's so good in terms of their pressing with Jurgen Klopp?
Well, look, it's an oversimplification, but the simple fact of the matter is that we're almost a more exciting team when we fuck it up, because you play up to this point. And you know what it's like, it's fine margins in the final third of the pitch, and that's why your pass completion percentage is always so much lower when you're centre forward to when you're a defensive midfielder, as an example. But what Liverpool are set up to do is, look, fine, get the ball to Sturridge or Mane or Firmino or Lallana or Coutinho, and they're in and around this area. If they look to play an intricate pass, which is what we'll do, we'll look to play intricate passes, give and go.
Because that's what you guys do, isn't it? You actually attack in quite a narrow formation so that you can tap it around, which people wouldn't actually realise when you've got so much pace.
At times, because what you see so much is obviously Milner basically doesn't play left back, which is why it's a bit of a confusing one. He plays, on the halfway line. I've seen Milner be here. You know what I mean? And this is where he plays a lot of his football in the opposition half for a left back. Klein gets up as well. But the way we're set up is that, you're looking for a little give and go, looking to get someone in behind. If you misplace that pass, under normal circumstances, you'd be like, the move's broken down. But that's when Liverpool switch on, and that's where we look to put the defenders under pressure. So, to be fair, having someone like a Daley Blind's probably not a bad idea, because this is where we get our most joy. What happens, and we've seen it so often, the centre-backs here, they panic and they just boot it. They'll try to play it out from the back because they naturally want to play football, and they'll just get to some point where someone goes, shit the pants, and the ball goes out for a throw-in, or it goes to one of the full-backs, and then
you go again,
surge again, wave after wave.
How do Man United cope with that? Is that these midfield two are going to be so important because they need to be an option for Valencia or Shaw. There's a big thing with Liverpool that they love that trap when it goes over to that right back, because they're almost using the line as a defender. They can then all get at him. So they need to be able to play the ball quickly, which means these two are crucial. And also, even fullbacks as well, but they need to be an option for them then to move up the field, because otherwise they're just going to get caught in one half.
I think what you're looking at here is how a lot of the game is going to go, in that it's going to be extremely packed in Man United's half. And just look at the space. Look at the space that's going to be in there, because Milner and Klein are going to go up. That's going to happen. And that's another reason why Daley Blind could be so important, because his pings are... Probably there's no one better in that team for a long pass than him. And you're gonna say, you might knock it long, but if he can have Mane, Sturridge, whoever plays here is going to press the defenders very quickly. there is nobody better in that team for looking up and getting the pass accurately over to someone like Martial. And I think we're going to sit quite deep and hit on the counter-attack. And that's why someone like Martial and Rashford is so important to have them in the team, because Ibrahimovic, remember, he's going to be playing as a number 9, but I imagine he's probably going to drop quite deep, almost coming alongside Mata and help him, because he does drop into that number 10 role sometimes. And Herrera in that defensive midfield role is going to have to be like a B the entire game. He's going to have to run around, and there's no one better in that team for that sort of role than him.
Like a bee.
Stop
Like
it.
a bee. Bees buzz around, all right? There's nothing wrong with bees.
Running around the place, shitting people up. I think there's one worth noting about this, of course, is that
Nothing wrong with B.
we'll have all these players up here. If we manage, and this is where the battle's won and lost, and this is where Swansea actually got on top of us in the first half, because Milner wasn't allowed to get up here. He had to play as a left back. If you're able to make these guys play as full backs, then that hinders our ability to put you guys under pressure.
Yeah.
And this is the thing: if it's like this, these guys won't be there, and that option, you'll have to take a gamble on leaving someone up. And I think there's a potential for us, where it might work into our hands, is that if you've got Mata and Ibrahimovic, for the start, these guys are not going to be doing any of the dirty work. That's not the kind of players they are. They've not got the pace. You're going to need to try and leave one of these guys. But if you leave, there's an example. Well, you leave Rashford up. Well, hang on a second. You've got an overload. So Martial's going to have to come in and do some dirty work. I wonder whether Man United are going to have enough players. I think looking at it, getting as many ball players in your back sort of 6 or whatever is actually a pretty good approach.
Yeah.
But it is about if we're playing as a total team, and that's the idea under Klopp. Whether it works on the day, we'll see. Everyone's working towards one thing. In order to stop that, everyone in your team needs to do the same, and that's what Swansea had going for them, which causes loads of problems. Burnley had it in the start as well. They went with a game plan. They were unified, and they went to put us under to cause us problems. Will you do that in trying to make sure that you've got pace on the counter? Will you be? Well,
there's one player who's not here and has not been mentioned and knows Jurgen Klopp's system more than most, and it's Henrik Mkhitaryan. In terms of, he was known as a workhorse. His energy off the ball was almost better than his energy on the ball. He hasn't really played for Man United more this season, but if you're looking as a number 10 who adds more in terms of how we're going to play and need to play against Liverpool.
Though, is he?
Well, he's not playing. He hasn't played yet, but he's fit.
You've not picked.
I haven't got him. I literally haven't got him.
I've got to print him off. You try and spell his name. But he is on his way back. He's not going to start that game, though, is he?
No, but he might. I don't.
Yesterday, when I asked you, because I had to print him out, you said he was going to play.
No, I don't think he will start. But I'm saying, in terms of, there is no player better suited for what that number 10 needs to be in this game than Henrik Mkhitaryan.
What I think is interesting is you're talking about approach. The approach of Man United is going to be so crucial, because the Man City game, you let them have the ball.
Yeah.
Which Burnley did that to an extent as well, and it worked against Liverpool, but it didn't work against Man City. So are you actually, instead of going, yeah, okay, you have the ball and we'll be safe here, the second half of that game, you went for it.
Yeah.
And so maybe it is a choice of going, no, we're a decent team here. We're gonna have the ball as much as you are, because I bet these two will probably get a little bit nervous if Herrera's smart enough and quick enough to play his passes and he can get it to these guys.
This is based entirely on Bottle, and it's about trusting that I'm getting up and we're all getting up, we're all working towards this, and that's where Liverpool, like, it may be 6 months' time, this is going to be, if this continues like this, we could be fucking unstoppable in that regard. But right now, because there is still those little moments, and it's Man United, the fear will creep into a couple of these players. Man, I think the best chance, United have of that is going, no, fuck you, we're going to go and we're going to go toe to toe. But like I said, and we did some previews on your channel and on our channel as well, I don't think Mourinho, I don't want to say Bottle, doesn't have the bottle. I don't know whether it's within his mindset and his ability or his skill set to set an attacking Man United side up at Anfield, because I think historically he likes to draw. He's happy with a draw in the big away games.
I think Mourinho is a pragmatist first, so I think we're not going to go massively attacking in the first half. If we are going to attack in this game, it's going to be more hitting on because we've got the strength in the counter-attack and we've got the players to find them. And if we do go into that second half and it's 0-0, maybe Liverpool winning 1-0, that's when you're going to see United play a a more obvious 4-3-3 formation where Herrera really is going to sit there on his own. And Mata is, you might even then get Mata off for Rooney, because remember, Rooney is not even in this team yet, and maybe Rooney's going to start.
Manager Sam puts on Wayne Rooney.
Look,
what?
It's controversial.
Who are the key players in this game for you?
For me, if everyone's fit to start, Luke Shaw and Herrera. The natural width only comes from Mane. Everybody else is inclined to cut inside. And I think we're going to have a lot of players there because Herrera is going to be cutting off those. There won't be space here. But I think the real danger for United, and something that happened against Watford twice, is this is why I'm scared of Mane on the wing, because as soon as that Shaw was beaten or anybody was beaten down here, the cut back to the edge of the box here, Capoue came in, nobody was marking him. Because Pogba, I think it was Pogba and Fellaini that played that game, we had no midfield discipline to come back and cover that space. So when you get late runners into the box like Coutinho, even more, he might be more dangerous playing deep because he will be that late runner into the box.
Well, you're right, where Liverpool are most dangerous and where the key issue is going to come down to is Daniel Sturridge's performance, if he starts. And if he starts as the main guy up front, it's how well he fits in with what we're trying to do. Because, look, when it's...
Because, why a lot of people don't know why he isn't starting normally.
Quite simply because Firmino has been the perfect fit for this. Because it's such an all-round performance, and so much of it is just about work rate and intelligence. And Daniel Sturridge has that. He gets unfairly criticised at times for it, but Firmino's been so good at it. And where it boils down to is Roberto Firmino is, these guys are going, well, Firmino's playing centre forward, so keep an eye out for Firmino. And your natural inclination is to go, well, that's my guy. So when he goes out here, I'm going to go with him. I'm going to keep an eye out for him. But the success of what we're built on is Firmino vacates that position, and whether he comes up here or he pulls out to the right, and he's very good at pulling out to this side, is that it's then down to Mane or the other guy who's playing this has been Coutinho in the past to come in and fill this position, and all of a sudden there's space for them to exploit. And what I was saying to Sam as well is that the added threat of the way we're set up and what's been successful so far is that, and I think a lot of this is built to counter teams that play 4-2-3-1, is that you can it's possible to keep an eye on 3 guys. It's almost impossible to keep an eye on 5 because, and this is what happened to Arsenal, is we ended up in a situation where these guys are all being taken care of. Well, this was Wijnaldum at the time. Wijnaldum all of a sudden's cropping up here, and Lallana's cropping up here, and the ball's coming across. Lallana takes it down and finishes it, and that's where you see some of it's a kaleidoscope of movement at times, and it basically causes partial blindness if you're looking at it the wrong way, and that's where the issues for Liverpool. The question is, of course, is Daniel Sturridge physically capable of doing the same as what Roberto Firmino does? Potentially. We'll have to see on the day. Hopefully he'll be pumped up for it.
In that same breath, if you've got these 2 guys up here, there's so much space. Why are you not getting taken apart? Is it because you haven't played...
You've got to get the ball off us first, you know what I mean? You've got to get the ball past. And what's also happening on top of that, of course, is that then Jordan Henderson's here. Don't forget, you've then got Klein and Milner's here. You defend, and it's all well and good. Where do the opposition players fit within this? Everyone's going back to the wall. And this is when situations arise like the ball breaks, it drops to Jordan Henderson. Okay, he's not going to sit in the top bin. I'll let Chelsea every single week. He's not. But it's just so hard to pick us up.
So I guess that's why Pogba, you spent a lot of money on this guy.
Yeah.
He needs to really, really pull it out of the bag and show some discipline, which he didn't show against Man City.
You're looking at a player who can and should be dominating these games. Previously, it was Pogba and Fellaini. Fellaini's a very static midfielder. He played, I think he got man of the match in one of his first 2 performances, but you basically put a pin in Fellaini and you put a 20-metre radius around him. He doesn't move out of that 20-metre radius, and he can't. Yeah. Whereas Herrera has the ability to just be running everywhere.
Buzzing about like a bee, isn't it?
Buzzing about like, seriously, bee. Right. And that really does enable Pogba to be that box-to-box midfielder that he should be. Pogba's been a shadow of himself, but that's kind of been United this season. You're looking at lots of players here who have been playing underneath themselves. Ibrahimovic started very well. He's been underneath himself for a few games. Martial finally scored against Stoke underneath himself. Rashford's been quality. Mata's been very good as well, but there's lots of players here who really haven't clicked for United.
Which Man United player are you most worried about?
It should be a bit obvious. Ibrahimovic, because I'm not sure how we'll handle someone like him. You know, he's a big physical presence. That's a big test for us. But also Rashford, just those players, particularly with his pace, if he plays on the right-hand side, that's our big area to be exploited, because if Milner's getting up, and if Milner's forced to be a left-back against Rashford, we might have issues.
It's the same question for you, Sam. Which player are you most worried about in this Liverpool side?
It's between Mane and Coutinho, because I think Coutinho, you know, he does shoot a lot and sometimes he hits the barn door, but sometimes he scores. The main worry for me is Liverpool running down here, say Klein overlapping with Mane, 2 against 1 on shore, comes down here and it cutting back across here. And then you're going to have so many players because they stack the middle here. It could be Lallana, Mane, Henderson coming in, Coutinho, Wijnaldum if he's fit. There's so many players there that have the ability to shoot from outside the box. And United have conceded a couple of goals like that this season. And I do think that's going to be one of our biggest weaknesses. I think, other than that, set pieces, I'm not worried about Liverpool. I am worried about Liverpool in attack. I think you've got so many options now. There's not like one player like Torres up front. If you can keep Torres quiet, it make you feel better.
Which you never could.
Well, Vidic couldn't.
So I guess the final question is predictions. Paul, first. What's the score going to be?
I would back Liverpool to win it. I would love to say and love to see Liverpool smash United absolutely off the park, but that's probably not going to happen. So I've said this on a number of platforms, but I'll repeat myself because, you know, Ball Street.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, appreciate it, because it's a bit of a
just
ruin.
go and watch another show.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool will win it by the odd goal. Whether that's 1-0 or 2-1, I don't know.
Okay, Sam?
I don't like to agree with Paul, but it will be a victory by the odd goal, but it won't be Liverpool. Yeah, I got you there, didn't I?
No, surely not.
No, United, I think, do have enough to win this, but it's Anfield. There's certain cliches do apply to football, and games like this, form just gets pissed out the window. And then...
Oh, that old cliche.
That's my cliche now. Yeah. No, but I think United, it all depends if we click. And if we can, ahead of we play Liverpool, Fenerbahce, Chelsea and City in the next 10, 12 days. If we're going to click at some point this season, it would be quite nice if we started it with a win at Anfield away. But there just won't be a clean sheet.
You're gonna have to go full metal, aren't you?
Full metal.
Big time.
Well, as long as he bees around.
Bees around, you're good.
Yeah.
What do I think? I think...
No one cares.
People don't care. You care, right, guys? No? Wrap it up? No, I think it's going to be... I think it's going to be Liverpool. I think they've got the momentum. I think Man United doesn't feel right at the moment. I think Mane maybe with a brace, 2-0. Go 2-0 Liverpool.
You're going to put that bet down, yeah?
I'm doing it right after this.
Right, cool.
So that's what we think, guys, but we want to let us know what you think. Give us your predictions. Who are the key players and who are the people that are going to be exploited in this game? Who are the weaknesses in this game? Let us know in the comments below. Check out Sam from United People's TV stuff. Paul, of course, from Redmen TV. Go subscribe to both of those. There you go.
What have I got on here? I've got Matter, I think.
Yeah, go subscribe to Matter. Follow him. Apparently he's really nice. And make sure you subscribe to Ball Street. And we'll see you next time.